We're learning more about the investigation into Saturday's shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The suspect, Cole Allen, has been charged with attempting to assassinate President Trump and made his first appearance in federal court yesterday. Investigators say they're working to verify details and release information quickly as false claims continue to spread online. According to federal officials, there is no evidence to support claims that the attack was staged or connected to any policy or building plans.
And we're following several new developments on last night's shooting at the White House course.
Right, so as you can see, that last title.
This afternoon,
This is for fair use for educational purposes, not for no monetary gain. All right, so I'm going to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Hakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well with sincerity, honesty, and integrity. Brothers laboring in this truth, putting their life on the line, especially in these times. Salutations to you, brothers. We brothers and sisters believe in this truth wholeheartedly and sincerely. Shalom to the hopeful elect. All right, says investigators debunk rumors on White House correspondent dinner, right? Shooting, right? But ultimately, they just said, hey, they debunked it. They debunked their own bullshit, basically. And, a lot of people saying it was a deep fake, it was a psyop. Whether it was one or not, the point I'm coming with this lesson is that, you're going through this comment section and most people, they don't have they don't believe in their government, right? The government Esau Edom is losing his credibility. You see, he's ultimately losing his credibility. And now we're at a point where people they question everything this government done. Everything that they do, and they're looking at they trying to get further and further in the way of releasing the redacted files or the Epstein files and prosecuting those that have been known for those atrocities. Those allegations, you would say, those accusations. All right. And over there, now you're hearing about the Zorro Ranch over there in New Mexico. Right. So it's a lot of things coming out, and they're trying all these deep fakes to psych people out. But most people, they don't trust in the government. And we're in these times, man, where right here, Isaiah 25. Matter of fact, you know what? Yeah, let's get this first, actually. Let's get this first. Micah 5, verse 12. I think it's, hold up. Yeah, it's verse 12. Micah 5 and 12, it reads, thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images are out of the midst of thee, and thou shalt no more worship. Matter of fact, verse 12, Salakia. Micah 5 and 12. And I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. All right? So that's what the Lord is doing. He's cutting off their witchcraft, man. Those enchantments is no longer working on the people like it once did, And even, people who used to call other people conspiracy theory, even now they will be considered conspiracy theory because they do not believe anything that this government has to say, man. Esau Edom is losing his credibility, man. He's losing, that wisdom, which was his wisdom was on the left-hand side, which was those witchcrafts, which was those enchantments, right? He's losing it. People lost all credibility with Esau Edom, man. And they know he'll do anything to cover up his wickedness, man. But let's get this right here. Isaiah 25 and verse, let's get verse 7. Verse 7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations, right? That wine that has all these nations mad, that veil, right, is going to be removed, man. You see? And the Lord The Lord is doing that, man. He's even when you go into this, it's going into destruction, but you can also use it when you go into his wisdom, right? When you go into the Esau Edom's wisdom. All right, let me just make sure. Let me see. Right? Matter of fact, Job 5:12, he disciplineth the devices of the crafty, so that his hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. You see? And the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. Right? So look at, he traps the wise in their own cleverness. So their cunning schemes are thwarted, right? You see, so this is what's happening to Esau Edom, man. Now I'm gonna jump down. That's not what I'm looking for. Hold on, let me grab it. Is it? What else? I'm in Job 5, right? I swore it was. Is it Job? I think maybe it's Job 8. Job 18. Hold up, 18 and 5. Yeah. It's the water y'all washing y'all shot. Job 18 and 5. Yeah, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of the fire shall not shine. So you can also go into that being his wisdom. You see, the light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him. All right. The steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. All right. So this man's wisdom, he's losing his wisdom, man. All right. Now listen. Yeah, man. So he's losing his wisdom, man. Ultimately, right? And then you now have it where people are coming out, of his own people. Esau's Edom, the lower level Edomites, is coming up against the higher Edomites, going against the Amalekites. Those elite banking families, right? The ones that are the puppets behind the scene. All right. I mean, it's like the puppet masters behind the scene. All right. They're coming up against their own people, man. You got MAGA, losing credit, losing what's the word? Salakia. Confidence, Salakia. MAGA losing confidence in their own party, in their guy, right? Because, as when DJ T came into office, man, he's fulfilling the will of the Amalekites, the elite banking families as well, man. So he don't have none of these lower level Edomites in mind, which his base is those lower level Edomites, which is MAGA, right? So he don't have them in mind. Right, and they know that this man will do anything and everything to continue to hide his to divert him from the Epstein files. And not only that, his approval ratings always his approval ratings down, right? People are fed up with they're sending their kids, right, to go fight a war that has nothing to do with, they feel like, you fighting a war on the behalf of for the Israelis, man. You see? But let me bring it back. Psalm 64 and in verse 8, it reads, so they should make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And that's what you starting to see, man. You starting to see people, you even just see, we just seen, I'm going to go look into it some more, that, Saudi Arabia left the OPEC. You see, so we man, we're in amazing times right now, man. And Esau Edom is being made, he's being made bare. People, he's starting to be naked. People can see his shame. That shameful spewing is being on his name, man. He's He's right here. He's right here. Psalms 58:3 reads, "The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies," right? So they speak lie. Everything they do is through deception, man. You see? So you can't believe anything that they come out with. Now me and the brother was going into the artificial intelligence, right? How they have different AI apps that can make one thing look one way, and then you got people breaking certain things down. You can't trust nothing that Esau Edom does, man. And the world is starting to see these things, man. We've been, from the head apostles and the bishops and the elders on down, we've been telling you, never trust our enemy, man. This man, he's insatiable, man. His blessing is the sword. His blessing is to destroy. And he would destroy his own to accomplish his agenda, man. But like we read in Job, that he's not going to fulfill his enterprise, right? But we're going to continue to see more. Don't be surprised. And then you see the guy, the face of it was the face of this whole attack was a so-called black man. And that's another thing they're going to do. They're going to come down hard on you Israelites, man, plain and simple. Right? Because remember, Jacob's trouble. But then also, they're going to be like madmen, sparing none against those that fear the Lord. So they got to try to come in with some angle to come down hard on you Israelites, man. And they're going to make you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, the face of terrorism, man. You see? And that's what we're getting closer to, man. Step by step, this man is laying down the groundwork of him coming down with that great wrath that we read in Revelation, because he know if he have a short time. All right. But so that's why we got to continue to, pray, fast, and pray that the Lord have mercy upon us, man. And, having like me and the brothers, we just went into a lesson talking about going into through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shem Yahshua, because this is not of us, but it's making sure your mind is right, and how you do that is, making sure, again, examining yourself, getting into these scriptures and understanding that, this shit's only gonna get worse, man. We seen these things that's happening in the news. They talking about, you got oil tycoons, oil businessmen talking about how things is gonna get even worse. So, man, now more than ever, we gotta, set our houses in order and make sure we right with the Lord, man, because things is only gonna get worse. But with that, though, pray this lesson was edifying. Shalom to the hopeful elect. E is losing his credibility.